Hello and welcome to another video review. This is Blakestone Planet Strike for DOS. This is a first-person shooter that was developed by Jam Productions and published by Apogee back in 1994, which was a year after the original Blakestone Aliens of Gold. And this is a direct sequel to it, but the thing is, hardly anybody seems to know about this one. Which kind of surprises me, considering that Blakestone 1 did very well. The thing is, Aliens of Gold had a shareware version. It was included on pretty much all the big shareware discs of the time, if you're not familiar with that concept. Basically, you could go to a store and you would buy a disc and it would have like 50 or more games on it, and they're all shareware versions. This was like the age of shovelware, and that was partly because we couldn't really go online and find download sources for it. I mean, you'd had the BBS, but other than that, there really wasn't much to go on with that. So that's probably why Blakestone Aliens of Gold is way more well-known than Planet Strike, which I believe only had a registered version available. And it also kind of dropped the Blakestone moniker for some weird reason. I don't know why. It just was referred to as Planet Strike in the cover art and all. But oh well. So it's interesting to see that you had Blakestone 1, which was a great game, and it did very well, but its sequel, which may or may not be better or worse, didn't really do well at all. And it wasn't that it did badly, it was just that it wasn't as widespread as the original game. Now it's interesting to note that in terms of graphics, they really changed almost nothing from the original Blakestone. The first thing you'll notice about it is that it uses almost all of the same sprites and everything that the original game did. They added in a few for the new content, but they mostly just took the old sprites, changed up the colors, and there's your new graphics, and it wasn't really all that great. And then, of course, they threw in and said, hey, the boss monsters from the original game are now going to be normal monsters in this one. It was weird. But suffice to say, the most notable change in the graphics department was the use of different first-person weapon drawings, sprites, I mean. They look slightly more realistic, I guess you could say, is what they were trying to go for. It didn't really work out that well. They really don't look any better than the original game. And in fact, the original game's weapon rendering looked a lot better. Just because the cartoony style fit it more. It doesn't really need that more realistic kind of approach. And I don't really know why they decided to do that. But oh well. The sound design is almost exactly the same as the original. In fact, they use almost all of the same sound effects. They just changed them a little bit. Maybe they reversed a sound effect here or there, and that's about it. They really didn't change much in that department either, so what I really have to talk about is the gameplay. Did they change much there either? Now, the story's pretty much the same. It's the same old, you play as a British intelligence officer named Blakestone, and you're trying to save humanity by defeating the evil villain Goldfire and his nefarious plots. Very James Bondish kind of thing, but the story really isn't the focus here. It is kind of lazy that they did just exactly the same thing that they did in the original. But oh well. In this one, however, the gameplay did change a little bit. Most of the game actually plays pretty much the same. You still run around, you still shoot stuff, you still find charge packs for all of your weapons, and all the ammo is shared. They added in, I believe, 1 or 2 weapons. I can't exactly remember how many. But you have new toys to play with. You also have a new objective. Instead of having to retrieve the red access card to unlock the next floor of your elevator in like it did in Aliens of Gold, you actually need to go through the different levels of Planet Strike and find a fission detonator. And then you need to go to the security cube and arm the detonator. And then you have to move quickly away from it so you don't get hurt by the blast, which is kind of stupid. But then you can go back to your transporter and go to the next level. It is more linear than the original game, wherein you could actually almost skip floors if you knew what you were doing. But this one is 20 levels, and then it has 4 secret levels as well. And you also have a couple of boss battles in there. Really, it's pretty much more of the same, so they didn't change too much in that regard. They did add in an auto map system, which is kind of nice, but other than it's not really necessary per se. But Ultimately, Blakestone Planet Strike is pretty much more of the same. If you liked Aliens of Gold, you'll probably like Planet Strike. It is a little bit lower quality, though. I did notice that throughout playing it. While the gameplay is still pretty much fun, there are more levels where you're just kind of like, not feeling this level. And really, it does kind of only appeal to fans of the original Blakestone, so I can't really recommend it to new people. But if you played Blakestone Aliens of Gold and you liked it, and you're like, oh, I would like more of this, then definitely give Planet Strike a look. I'll have a link in the video description box to where you can check it out. Thanks for watching.